Hi there. My name is Chris Ceballos. I'm the owner of Con Ganas Media, and welcome to the Con Ganas podcast. We're an educational platform for people looking to start a small business or may already have one and need a few pointers. Today, we're happy to introduce as our very first guest on this podcast, Nadia Marina. She's the owner of Plantate Cafe based in Burbank, California. She's been running Plantate for over a year now and has taken a semi-permanent residence at Tansy Home Goods. She's going to be a featured booth at the Choice is Vital Pay What You Can fundraiser for reproductive rights being hosted on July 16th. Nadia and I talk a lot about startup costs of a coffee shop, time management between her business and her family, and expanding her shop now that she's gained a lot more revenue. We'll get started in a moment. But before we do, I encourage you to subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow us on social media at Con Ganas Media for the latest episodes and clips. Thanks so much, and here we go.
It's been good. It's been busy, but good.
Good.
Like the good busy, you know?
Awesome. Where are you working at? Is you just working at Plantate or are you doing other things?
Yeah, just Plantate, and then I'm at a co-op preschool, so that means I have to teach at the preschool and hold a job at the preschool, so that way it's affordable. So I'm the president currently, and I'm transitioning out of that position because I want to focus on the business full time.
That's awesome. When did you start the cafe?
The cafe I started in May of 2020.
Oh, wow. You've been at it for...
2020, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year, 2021.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What drove you to start that?
I think with the pandemic, it kind of just put things into perspective that I wasn't really building anything that my kids could inherit. And I wanted to create some stable financial gains to help out my husband. And, pandemic mortality, I'm like, what if I don't have him? How am I going to support my kids? So what could I do that I love and would still allow me to be the mom that I want to be? And of course, coffee and the hours for cafes allow me to have dinner with my kids every night.
Perfect. That's awesome. Plantate, it's a mix between coffee and plants. Are you a plant mother as well? Do you have your own garden in the living room?
I don't have any outdoor space, so I have my apartment filled with grow lights. I converted a IKEA cabinet to a grow cabinet, and I have probably about 150 plants now.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's awesome.
It's crazy.
It is crazy because I just can't fathom 150 plants.
It's a lot.
That's awesome. So you do pop-ups mostly.
Yeah. So currently I pretty much pop up exclusively at Tansy because I still try to spend my weekdays with my kids. So on the weekends, I'm at Tansy every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4. Once I transition from pop-up tables to a trailer, I will be there full time.
Oh, okay. So that's the next move is trailer. Now, trailer as in with wheels that you can park places?
Yeah. So instead of being a food truck, I decided not to go for the food truck because I didn't want to deal with mechanics of engines and stuff. And I didn't want anything that big since Tansy invited me to share the space with them. So I'll be parking in their garden. So I had to find something small enough. I found a little 9x6 cute little trailer that's currently being manufactured, and I should have it by the fall.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So what is Tansy for people who don't know?
So Tansy is this really whimsical, amazing, Black-owned, women-owned plant store and home decor shop. So it's where you go to find plants for outside, but mostly inside. And they will teach you how to take care of the plants. They will rehab your plants. They will pot them in the most beautiful pots. And you can find really rare plants there as well as home goods that you can't find anywhere else. They're by local artists or artists that she brings in that you can't find anywhere else. It's incredible. It's whimsical. You have to go.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm all for it. I like new experiences. I'm all for it. You ended up thinking, okay, I want to start a coffee business. How do you start? Do you look up recipes first? Do you look up the business side first? How did you approach it?
Well, first I thought I need to find a roaster. If I'm going to be doing coffee, I have to find the coffee that I like because no shade, Starbucks isn't my favorite coffee. And I did want to keep things local and support local, smaller businesses. So I started to look at what roasters are partnering with small cafes. And I found Demitas Cafe. They have a location on the west side in Santa Monica. They did have a location in Little Tokyo. Unfortunately, they don't have that anymore. But they are incredible. I reached out to them. I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And he was like, do it tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not ready. He said, do you have a table? Yes. Do you have cups? Yes. You could do it tomorrow. Like no excuses. And they have been incredible mentors the whole way. And then other than that, it was just researching blogs like what licenses do I need?
Mm-hmm.
What permits do I need? All of that stuff is like, it's so complicated and confusing. And there's no guide for like Los Angeles specifically. So they've been really great partners in navigating that as well, because they've helped so many small cafes get off the ground.
Oh, that's so awesome, because that's any business owner is like, okay, I got the business idea, but where the hell do I need licenses? Do I need a bank account right now? Do I need to set up a LLC? Like there's no like business guide for that kind of thing. So they were able to kind of guide you through coffee specifically.
A little bit with coffee specifically. My husband is a freelance worker, so he was familiar with the LLC situation and taxes. And because of the liability of coffee, we decided that was the way to go. And Shauna, the owner of Tansy, has also been instrumental to teaching me the finance side of it, how to do my profit and loss sheets, and kind of set up all of that so I can kind of see where I'm spending money and where I'm making money and how I need to adjust my pricing moving forward. And my friend Chris is a financial advisor, and he's like, price per cup, like get it down to a science. So still working on it, but I have people in my corner, which is helpful.
That's awesome. Awesome. So then how do you come up with a menu? Do you decide, okay, I'm only putting 5 things on the menu? Do I keep it simple? Do I make it a little more niche? Like what is your thought process there?
Well, my biggest thought process was I knew I was going to be exclusively at Tansy because I wanted to set up as a pop-up, not to hit all the markets, but just to do it as a proof of concept so I could get into a brick and mortar. I need a proof of concept to get my loan. So when I reached out to Shauna, she was like, sure, of course, every weekend, whatever you want. And so I thought, okay, what can I bring? And what will set me apart from the other coffee on Magnolia? And as a Mexican American, I think that our flavors are really incredible. And coffee is amazing in Café de Olla. And there is a good Latino presence in Burbank, but it is still mostly white. So I decided that that's how I was going to make things different, was I was just going to have a limited menu and make it amazing and add agua frescas, because the agua frescas here are so bad. I don't know why. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
So I also offer those, and I just get really creative and make sure that the limited things I have on my menu are amazing things. And I can't say that there is one thing that sells more than the other, because they all sell really great.
Oh, okay, good. How far advanced do you have to make everything? Do you make a day of, or like a couple of days before?
Yeah. So it depends if we're having a special event, then I can prep up to a week before, because my stuff is no preservatives. It's, made by hand. So I would say the shelf life is a week. I don't push it past a week. But with horchata, because my horchata is in my opinion, the traditional kind, the way my family makes it. So it's vegan. It does not have the condensed milk. It's just pure rice milk with sugar to sweeten, not the condensed milk. So I have to make that the night before.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
So I soak it overnight, and then in the morning before I serve, I'm there straining it, mixing it up.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned you had to have proof of concept for a loan. Is that how do you decide how much money it's going to cost up front? Are you thinking, I want to start with the trailer up front, or are you thinking, can people do it without a loan? Like what's your gauge there?
Honestly, I don't know how anybody does it if they don't have money. I was so floored and really embracing the privilege that I have having a husband who has a really great job that could support me, because I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 5 years, not gaining an income, just trying to save everything my husband makes. So I knew that I had to start small, because even though he makes a good income, it's still modest. So it was literally, I went down to the downtown market, got some fabric to make a tablecloth, borrowed a 6-foot table from a friend, and went to Smart and Final, got some cups, and just made it happen. And then that's how I started. And then I started building on top of that. So the lemons in the beginning were just from my friend's lemon tree for the limonada. And now I can actually afford to buy my lemons if their lemons are out of season. So it's like building up little by little. I did put tamarindo on the menu for a little bit, but it was not selling as much because it's not as familiar to people. So I'm going to keep that as a specialty thing. So it's all trial and error. But if I didn't have the upfront capital, which was still, I mean, to get my setup to where it is now, it was about $4,000. When people like see street vendors and they think that like, oh, they don't have money or they're not invested in their business, they are incredibly invested in their business, because $4,000, I couldn't even afford those little carts. It's crazy expensive. That's why I kind of had to figure out on my menu what I could have, because my coolers, I can only fit so many coolers. I had to get a new car.
Oh,
it
wow.
was a whole thing.
Okay, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the trigger to say I'm ready to get the trailer? I'm big, is it dollar amounts? Is it customer amounts?
Honestly, the trailer thing came from, okay, I had a year of proof of concept. I showed rapid growth from when I started to where I was now. I more than tripled my sales of daily sales. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do brick and mortar because that's where I want to be anyways. And I have a proof of concept and my credit is okay. I should be able to get a loan. And then I found out, oh, the price of retail or commercial spaces is crazy expensive. So unless you find an outgoing cafe to take over, that's the least expensive option, but it's still incredibly expensive. And SBA loans are just not as accessible as they seem to be, or people perceive them to be. So Shauna was working with me. She's the owner of Tansy, as I said before. And she said, you know what, girl, just stay here. Just stay here in the garden. Fuck rent. Fuck the system. Like, just stay here. Get your permits, get your stuff, do it as a mobile food facility, and you can have a permanent outdoor cafe. Our businesses go so well together. People know you're here, expect you're here. If we lose you, we're going to have to bring in coffee with someone else, and we'd rather have it be you.
Perfect.
And I was like, that's the most amazing opportunity. And that's when we started looking at trailers.
Excellent. Yeah, community support is very important. I think that's the other hand of small business ownership. That's like, sometimes you need, help each other
100%.
out, and you make more that way. So I think that's really awesome.
100%. I can't tell you the amount of small business owners that I've met in like Costco Business Center, Restaurant Depot, who talk to you and give you advice on the fly when the plastic shortage was happening and I couldn't find cups. Another local coffee shop came through for me. So it really is community. And that's the only way we can survive is with each other.
So I saw your logo on Instagram. It looks really awesome. And I also saw you have cups with the logo on them. How do you go about getting that done? Because there's a lot of you got to talk to design, you got to talk to wholesale, all that.
So I'm really, really fortunate that my husband works in brand marketing and he knows a lot of designers and he knew exactly the designer I should work with. And we only did 2 rounds. She got me right away. I wanted something modern, but traditional, which is conflicting, but she got it. And I wanted it to be timeless. I didn't want it to feel like it was going to age. And I wanted to bring in that Mexican spirit. So that's a story behind my logo. The logo being on the cups is still a sticker on the cups. Perfect. I find the cups wherever I can find the cups. I order the stickers thousands at a time from Vistaprint because it's cheaper, which again, you have to have the money to make money. So I'm very fortunate that I have the money to be able to do that. Otherwise, each sticker would be like double or triple in price if I can't order in bulk. And that's actually the reason why I can't order my cups pre-logo branded, like printed on, because the price is insane. And a lot of the places require you to store all of those cups at your premises. Otherwise, you have to pay, the lowest I have found is a $40 monthly fee for them to store the cups for me. And that adds up when you have like 35,000 cups or 40,000 cups that they require you to do. I buy 2,000 at a time. Like I can't.
Right. And I'm sure your husband wouldn't be too happy with so many boxes lining your house all over the house.
I mean, I feel bad because when we started the business, I had to turn my kids' play corner into the Plantate corner. And we have an extra fridge that we had to buy. We have those baker's racks with stuff just stacked up. And it sucks. But again, I'm very fortunate that I have the space to do that in.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's been the most challenging part? I'm sure it's all been a challenge, but what's been something that not everybody knows about, especially people who want to start a coffee business like this?
I think the most challenging thing, and I still haven't done it because I'm so resistant to it, is really making every single recipe so specific that you can replicate it every single time and break down the cost. So if you know that in your base, let's say the base simple syrup that I use to make the canela syrup for the cold brew, I have to know like exactly how many ounces of piloncillo I'm putting in the simple syrup, how many teaspoons I'm putting. And then after I make the syrup, I have to know how many ounces of syrup am I putting into each cup. And someone who's Latino is like, I don't know, it looks good. It's like a spoonful of that and like a pinch of that. And I just put the cones until it's full. And like, I just haven't had the time or the willingness to get that surgical with my recipes, but I know that I have to because eventually I have to hire a staff and I have to be able to teach them how to replicate it. And I don't want to get to a situation where customers will only come if I'm there.
Right. That's very important. You start the business on your own. You kind of make it a name on your own. And then if people only expect you to be there, you can't grow with the business. Your business can't expand.
No.
That's so important.
Yeah. If the quality suffers, then the whole business suffers.
Exactly. I've known that firsthand. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to be the indicator for you to add staff? Do you think to have them during the week so you can kind of take care of the rest of the business, or what do you think?
Yeah. So right now I've talked to a couple friends. I really want to make sure I have a balance of work life and kid life. And my husband works Monday through Friday and I work Saturday and Sunday. So we never have family days ever, unless he has like a Monday off, which is very rare. So I would love to have somebody work for me every Sunday so that I can have Sundays with my family. And then I'm considering also having them work on a Monday. So Mondays can be my restock and prep days. But the price of payroll is insanely high. So that's why I'm chatting with my friends and seeing who's down to be paid in cash. And see if I could just bring them in when I need a break for now. And then once I am making the revenue, which is like, I'll have to be making like 3 times what I need to be making because I'm going to have to pay back my loan and pay back all of that stuff. So honestly, I don't know what the number is that indicates when I'm ready to have somebody on and pay payroll. But for now, once the trailer comes and I expand my hours, I'm going to be just paying some friends under the table because that's all I got to do. And I don't want to burn out and get sick because if I'm not there, then the business isn't run.
Yeah, got to take care of yourself too. So how do you decide, okay, I'm spending these weekends at Tansy and then these other days I see there's festivals, I'll go jump in and pop up in festivals and fundraisers?
Unfortunately, I can't. I mean, I do leave myself open for private events. So for a couple months, I was serving at a preschool that they wanted to have coffee for the parents during drop off. And that was really fun. And the only reason why I did that was because it was only for like an hour in the morning. And then I was out and I could still teach at my son's preschool and I could be there at noon to pick him up. So that's kind of where the wrench gets thrown in, is that my husband works full time and he is a major breadwinner. So my business has to kind of take a step back from him, but I'm always going to put my kids first. So if it's a nighttime event and my husband and I can work it out and it's going to bring in some money, then that's great. We'll work it out. He's 100% in my corner. But to hit the markets every single day, that's not the life that I'm about.
So how is your stress level currently? Are you able to breathe? I know family time is probably a good wind down time, but as a business owner with kids, how's your stress level? How are you doing?
Well, I started kickboxing again, if that's any indication. Right. And we're in couples therapy. So how's that? My stress level is great.
Yeah, of course.
No, it is really hard, but I do try to find creative ways to make my family involved. So they come and they visit me on the weekends and they get to see me. My daughter is 5 years old and she loves to ask the customers what they want. She helps me clean the coolers and helps me unpack and pack them. So there's a sense of ownership. And my son is 3, so he'll help me quote unquote, help me wheel in the coolers. So we find creative ways to blend everything together. And I was very fortunate that my family made a really good example of how to make work fun. So we clean the house together, we run errands together, and it's fun. We turn on music, we dance, and just breathe and dance it out all the time.
Your daughter is adorable, by the way. I mean, both your kids are adorable, but your daughter is like a little mini you, and it's so cute to watch her to move around and stuff like that. It's very cute.
Oh, thank you.
Do you need specific equipment? Are you doing everything totally by hand? What's been the biggest, gear purchase that you need for your specific setup?
Yeah, it's been really difficult. So we started brewing our batch brew coffee, which is just your traditional drip coffee, on a Techniform Mocha Master, which is not a cheap machine. It's still like a $300 regular coffee machine. And then I got a $30 coffee machine to do decaf on because nobody drinks decaf anyway.
Right. Fair enough.
So I'm the cheap one can go over there. But we were just doing so much that I was I don't want to burn out this machine, and we have more money in the bank now. So I bought a brewer that's one specific for mobile food facilities. That was expensive. Grinders, I don't know if you know, are more expensive than brewers. They're $1,000 a pop.
Really?
So that was rough. Whoa. Yeah. At least $1,000, because it's all about the grind. It's all about that. So I invested a lot in those things. And I also treated myself to a very fancy pour-over station that was handmade in Spain by this beautiful couple named Filter Colt. I actually don't know their actual names, but Filter Colt. It was crazy expensive, but it was 100% worth it because it's a focal piece of my spot in the cold months, because people want hot coffee and they don't mind waiting for a pour-over. So, again, you have to have money to make money. And I took a loan from a family member to be able to start buying equipment so that when my trailer so that when my, trailer got in, I would have the equipment right away. Little espresso machine, grinder, all that stuff was $4,000 just for the espresso setup was $4,000. And then I would say my batch brew was a little over $2,000.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's a lot.
Coffee's expensive.
It's a lot to start up. Yeah. On the flip side, I'm sure you can upsell a lot of your coffee because it is more artisanal and niche. Or how do you gauge that?
I mean, I would like to say yes, but unfortunately, coffee equipment is standard across the board, and I can't really put that into my prices. I can a little bit because of the quality of the bean. My cold brew, not just because it's mine, it's actually a Demitasis cold brew, but it is incredible. I have people who order it by the gallon so that they can have it during the week. And they come and they're like, you ruined coffee for me. I have to come here now. I'm addicted.
Perfect.
And that's not any special equipment. It's just the beans. So, but I have to stay competitive with places like Starbucks, Groundworks, Pete's, So I can't price myself out too much. So I just have to remember I'm playing the long game and I'll get there.
So did you need a specific license for selling coffee? I know it's like health codes and all that kind of stuff with anything, but.
Yeah. So it's so funny because there's two different types of licensing or like food permits for being able to serve food. There's like packaged and unpackaged. And because I'm actually pouring the coffee and making it on site and I'm not pre-making it in a commercial kitchen and bringing it, then it becomes more strict. And since I did the table as a proof of concept, I started the process of getting all of my permitting for that. I got a commercial kitchen that I knew I was never going to use because they don't even have coffee equipment, but I have to pay them and have a contract to pass health permit, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
And the cheapest I could find was $500 a month because they put me on the nighttime hours so I could get a discount and they knew I was never going to use it. But it's just so frustrating that I have to pay $500 a month for a full 12 months because you have to sign a contract. And I still can't get my health permit because it's $800 to apply for it. Once I get it for the table, it's a whole nother process to get it for the trailer. So I was like, I'm not going to spend the $800 for the table right now. I'm going to just, be cool. Only serve on the weekends, little low profile. And then when the trailer comes, I'll put the $800 towards that because coffee is expensive and my money is going down fast.
Yeah.
So I have to be really cognizant about what I'm spending and what I'm doing because I have to hire a company to help me with the paperwork because it's so crazy. And they do this all day, every day. And you only get 3 chances. You get like 2 strikes and you're out. So I'm going to pay them like $400. So it's going to be over $1,000. It's going to be like probably around $1,250 for me to get my paperwork. And that does not guarantee I will pass inspection. So that's stressing me out right now because it's kind of all out of my hands. And it's a big price tag to not have control over.
It's crazy being a small business owner because you think you can... at least for me, when I started running freelance and all that stuff, I was like, I can make my own hours. It's going to be easy. I can make more money. It all goes to me. And then you realize, people are watching me. Number one, the IRS is after you.
Yeah.
You have to have updated equipment if things break. You have to be able to support that. You got to have health insurance, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, this is bigger than just I get to work my own hours. That is amazing. I commend you for all this hard work because, oh my goodness, this is a lot.
It's crazy because I just thought, you just get an SBA loan and then they help you fund it and then you'll be good because it's 5% interest for 10 years and you only get charged interest on what you draw down. So if you get approved for like $40,000, if you only take $2,000 out, you're only paying 5% on the $2,000, not on the full $40,000. But they don't fund your loan until you jump through all these hoops. And unfortunately, with mobile food facilities, they will not fund your loan until you have it registered with the DMV and it is past inspection.
Yeah.
So they will reimburse me if I keep all my receipts, but I have to have all that money up front. And it's really scary. And I don't know how anybody does it because I think that I am like the luckiest person in the world to have the support that I have. And I don't know how anybody does it because I'm barely doing it.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about the DMV. Like that, it has wheels
It's
on it.
wild.
It's crazy.
It's a completely, and it's the most restrictive thing. LA County is the hardest to pass, which is why they say we don't guarantee that you will pass. So everybody just hold out hope, pray for me. I'll pass.
You have a fundraiser coming up you're going to be a part of on the 16th, I believe.
Yes,
Tell
yeah.
me a little bit about that.
So it's a fundraiser for reproductive rights that's being put on by Sweet Choice LA. My friend Melanie Mockbee has been spearheading that movement, and she has been raising funds for reproductive rights all over LA for a while now. And unfortunately, the place that she sets up at normally went out of business. They're no longer there. So she put out a call, hey, who's interested in hosting us? And I immediately jumped at the chance, told Shauna. She was like, absolutely. So it's going to be a pay what you can bake sale fundraiser in the garden at Tansy. And it'll be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, it's pay what you can. It's all donation based. There will be gluten-free and vegan options. 100% of those proceeds will go towards the National Network for Abortion Funds. I will be donating 50% of my business proceeds to the same national networks of abortion funds. And Tansy will be doing a raffle for a $100 gift card with a $5 raffle entry fee per ticket. And 100% of that will also go towards the National Network for Abortion Funds.
That's so awesome. I like that. Again, community just working together to build up on each other.
Yeah, it really hits home for us. I mean, Melanie, she doesn't have kids. I have 2 kids, and Shauna has 2 grown kids. So it's, we're all in different stages of our lives, and we both realize how important it is to band together as women, as people who have uteruses, and really use what little power we have we're stronger together. So we're really trying to make a big event out of it. So I encourage everybody who has uteruses, who doesn't have uterus, please come down, please support. It is more than just about babies. It's about our healthcare. And as someone who has had a miscarriage and has had to receive reproductive healthcare because I lost a baby that I wanted, I want people to know that it is healthcare. It is healthcare, and we have the right to have healthcare. So please, please come down.
Definitely. Yes, please come down. I will put all the descriptions, the addresses and everything in the descriptions, and make sure I shout you guys out. Nadia, thank you so much for doing this. This is really cool. This is Nadia Marina with Plantate Cafe. I'll have all the details in the description. Thanks for watching.